Daniel's obviously very disappointed. He's in the dressing room at the moment, and if he's going to come back, he's got to learn from it. He's only 27 years of age. Look back at...
It's not bad. It's boxing. It's not ballet. It's not dancing. Daniel, you young. You can. You can dream. Man, relax, man.
Daniel Dubois has stunned the boxing world by announcing his sudden retirement. Once seen as a rising star in the heavyweight division, his decision to step away has left fans in disbelief. It's a surprising turn for someone who once held so much promise. But not everyone is convinced. Many supporters are questioning the move. Is it a sincere exit, or just a dramatic play for attention and sympathy?
I retired, yeah. I say, hey, it's not good.
You have to keep boxing.
Yeah, you young. You can training. It's stupid mind, but if I lost in this fight, I get out and box.
Eddie Hearn isn't holding back. He says Daniel Dubois has clearly lost his sharpness, both physically and mentally. His ability to take punches just isn't there anymore, and the fire to compete seems to have burned out. Recent performances speak for themselves. Let's not ignore the fact that he backed out of the Parker fight and crumbled under the spotlight when facing Usyk. Now he's stepping away from the sport, and to many, it feels less like retirement and more like a way out.
It's time to retire when your physicalities change. Your punch resistance isn't as good. Maybe you're a bit slower. Maybe your desire's not there.
Eddie Hearn might have kept it civil, but the underlying message was hard to miss. Dubois stepping away at just 27 has sparked a wave of backlash. Many fans are mocking the timing, accusing him of escaping the heat instead of confronting it head-on. After avoiding the Parker fight and crumbling in the ring against Usyk, this sudden retirement feels more like damage control than a dignified exit. The sentiment online is loud and clear. Learn to take a loss like a fighter.
For British fight fans, because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but if that is the last we see of him, he's had a great career. I doubt it. But, it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone pays you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to him.
Johnny Nelson didn't hold back for a second. His message was clear. Dubois might as well hang up the glove for good. The criticism is pouring in, not just for the retirement, but for how early it came. Dubois had the spotlight, the support, and all the potential. But what he lacked was the mental toughness to push through the hard times. Boxing isn't a forgiving sport. If you can't handle defeat and learn from it, you're in the wrong game. Step away if you must, but don't hide from what's real.
Walk away, man. Retire. You don't need it. And if you are going to do it, make sure it's in your...
Frank Warren didn't mince words. If a fighter takes a real beating, sometimes stepping away makes sense. And let's face it, Dubois took serious damage in that clash with Usyk. But instead of regrouping and coming back, he's choosing retirement. At just 27, fans aren't holding back their criticism. To them, it feels less like a break and more like an escape. Taking a loss is part of the sport. Bouncing back is what defines greatness. Walking away now, that feels premature.
I'd leave that as a team to make it. He wasn't... I'd say to retire to somebody if he's taking a good hiding or taking a real good belt in there.
Carl Froch didn't hold back. Let's be honest, hardly anyone taking Dubois' retirement announcement at face value. His past already hints at inconsistency, backing out of the Parker bout, folding under pressure against Usyk, and now suddenly stepping away at just 27. Froch echoed what many insiders suspect. This could be a strategic move, a way to generate sympathy, create hype, and maybe set up a bigger payday down the line. And real fighters, they don't play games for leverage. They step into the ring. Froch sees this as a calculated retreat from someone who's never fully recovered mentally since the Joyce defeat. It's not closure, it's control. According to Froch, if you're going to leave, leave. But if you're staying, show up with real intent.
Retirement, I'm not sure if it's genuine. Maybe it is, but I don't know what he's going to do now he's retired. But the fact of the matter is, he's announced his retirement. He's either trying to leverage for more money, putting himself in position, so he's got people begging for him to come out, or he's actually genuinely going to retire. Not sure what he's going to...
If Carl Froch was blunt, Derek Chisora was brutal. Chisora didn't just question Dubois' retirement. He laughed it off. To him, this isn't a career decision. It's a circus act. 1 minute Dubois is announcing his done, and the next, he's teasing new fights. Chisora sees through it. This isn't clarity, it's chaos. In his eyes, real fighters don't pull stunt to stay in the spotlight. They earn it in the ring. The flip-flopping is a massive red flag. Dubois looks more like someone struggling to accept a tough loss than someone ready to walk away. Chisora's message? Cut the noise. If you're out, stay out. If you're still in the game, prove it with your gloves. There's no space in the heavyweight division for hesitation, and Chisora's been in the game long enough to spot fear. And right now, that's exactly what he sees in Dubois.
For him to decide to say, I'm leaving the game, it's hard, bro. So he has to come up with ways of just trying to annoy everybody. Offer me a fight, he says he's gonna fight for this and this. It's just crazy, but it is what it is.
Even Frank Warren, Dubois' own promoter, couldn't hide his frustration after the Usyk defeat. His tone felt less like a promoter and more like a disappointed father talking about a kid who lost his way. Dubois sat there, quiet, dejected, not just beaten in the ring, but broken inside. Warren stayed supportive on the surface, but his silence between the lines said it all. At 27, Dubois should be climbing toward his peak, not stepping back from the game. But instead of facing adversity head-on, he's sidestepping the grind. What Warren didn't spell out spoke volumes. If Dubois plans on returning, he'll need to show real mental toughness. Learn, adjust, grow. Because fans aren't buying the young champion needs a break angle anymore. They see a fighter who falters when the pressure rises. And if he can't handle setbacks, he's got no place chasing heavyweight greatness.
And Daniel's obviously very disappointed. He's in the dressing room at the moment, and if he's going to come back, he's got to learn from it. He's only 27.
Martin Bakole didn't hold back, in the ring or with his words. He voiced what a lot of people have been thinking. Dubois brought the loss on himself. Same predictable style, same defensive lapses, no evolution. Bakole saw it coming. No jab, no mid-fight adjustments, no plan B. And still, some fans were surprised when Usyk broke him down. Dubois entered with the same flawed approach that had failed before and expected a miracle. That's not just bad prep, that's wishful thinking. Bakole's final words sting. Where does Dubois go from here? If he refuses to grow and avoids the real work, then what's left for him? Boxing isn't a charity. It rewards those who adapt and punishes those who don't. And right now, Dubois is heading down the wrong path. Fighters see it, fans see it, and from Bakole's tone, it's clear. The respect is wearing thin.
Before the fight, even today, before today, that Daniel Dubois never passed 5 rounds if he kept boxing like the same way he boxed last time he fought Usyk. But he did the same. There was no jab, nothing changed. He deserved the knockout because he's never changed something like that.
And it wasn't just Martin Bakole calling it out. David Adelai offered a sharp, technical critique of Dubois' performance. From the first round, Adelai pointed out how Usyk dictated the pace, while Dubois appeared reactive and hesitant. Overthinking every move, he froze under pressure instead of fighting freely. This wasn't just a physical defeat, it was a psychological unraveling. Giving someone like Usyk room to operate is tactical suicide, and Adelai didn't miss it. While Usyk controlled the ring with his jab and movement, Dubois looked caught in limbo, unsure, uncommitted, and unready. Adelai wasn't mocking. He was breaking down the mental collapse of a fighter who seemed overwhelmed by the moment. At this level, you can't afford to fight like a prospect. It's about ring IQ, not just raw ability. Usyk had the composure, the footwork, the rhythm. Dubois had none of it. And perhaps the most telling sign, he didn't even have the heart to fire back.
Daniel was thinking too much. There's times when I could see Daniel being a bit hesitant. He was sitting there thinking. He did let his right hand go and he did throw a lot of shots, but I think sometimes when you overthink it, you give Usyk too much time. And when you give Usyk time, you kind of let him play at his own sort of pace. Usyk established the jab from like the first 30 seconds, which was, you know, look, like it just shows us.
Dave Allen may have delivered the most blunt and unforgiving assessment yet. He didn't sugarcoat it. In his eyes, Dubois quit, and is not alone. The labeled chairman of the Quit Committee isn't just Allen's jab. It echoes the sentiment across much of the boxing world. Dubois didn't go down riding in pain or show signs of being disoriented. He stood up, looked fine, and simply walked away. And that's where fans drew the line. It's one thing to be stopped. It's another to stop yourself when you're still capable of continuing. That moment cut deep. At 27, in the heart of a fight, a true heavyweight contender should be battling until the final bell. Allen's words highlight a painful reality. Dubois didn't just get beat, he gave in. And in doing so, he damaged his reputation. Now, fair or not, he's joined that harsh category of fighters remembered not for their skill, but for the moment they lacked the heart to keep going. For someone once hailed as British boxing's next big star, that's a hard fall to recover from.
Got up at the count of 10, and he walked straight past Usyk, straight to the corner. He was completely fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say I've quit. It's not horrific to say I'm quit. I'm chairman of the quit committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway, he quit, yeah.
Interview 12. Don Charles was left speechless, and for someone known for his fiery interviews, that silence said everything. He wasn't just shocked by the result, but by how quickly and quietly it all ended. His remark that Dubois was conned out of it hinted expectations far higher than what was delivered. There was supposed to be a strategy, a battle, a real showing. Instead, it all unraveled in just 4 rounds. Charles wasn't merely analyzing tactics. He was voicing a sense of betrayal. Because no matter how intense training camp was, once you're in the ring, it's on the fighter to show heart. And Dubois, in that moment, didn't. Don Charles is no stranger to this game. He knows you don't put in months of work just to crumble before the fight even hits its stride. Whether he feels deceived by the hype, by the moment, or by the illusion that Dubois was truly ready, he's calling out what he sees as a letdown. And for someone who fiercely supports his fighters, this kind of public disappointment cuts deep. Dubois didn't just fall short for fans. He left his own corner reeling with doubt.
I'm speechless. I usually got a lot to say. I'm speechless. The fight ended in round 4, and we got conned.
Then came Derek Chisora again, and he didn't mince words. His reaction after the knockout was nothing short of explosive. Chisora delivered a verbal haymaker, brutally honest and sharp. In his eyes, Dubois quit, and he wasn't puzzled by the defeat. It was the way it happened that bothered him. No signs of growth, no tactical shift. Dubois was supposed to come in with a new approach, something to throw Usyk off. But Chisora saw none of it. Just the same mistakes wrapped in new promises. And what hit hardest was Chisora's claim that Dubois was meant to win. The opportunity was there. Usyk wasn't invincible, but Dubois didn't step up. He lacked urgency, lacked precision, and most of all, lacked belief. Chisora's frustration bled through his words, capturing the wider disappointment felt by many. Even Don Charles, usually composed and loyal, lost his cool in the aftermath. That flare-up wasn't just emotion. It symbolized a team shaken to the core. This wasn't just Dubois losing a match. It was a breakdown of confidence, expectations, and unity. One fight didn't just end the night. It may have fractured everything around him.
Yeah, man, they quit. I don't understand. You know, they were supposed to train him different. They did not. I mean, like, it's big time. It was set for him to win it. You know, it was set for him to win it. You know, when I went to go out, to say how you feel, you know, Don Charles goes to me, "Oh, go suck your best friend's dick."
Joe Gallagher offered the most clinical take yet, a dissection, not a rant. He broke down Dubois' downfall like a surgeon detailing a failed operation. Yes, Dubois managed to trap Usyk against the ropes. But then what? He advanced without caution and got clipped clean. No head movement, no defensive awareness, just walked into a check hook like he didn't see it coming. For a fighter in the biggest bout of his career, it looked alarmingly casual. Gallagher labeled it unfortunate. But at this level, it's flat out unacceptable. That well-placed left wasn't just sharp, it exposed Dubois as predictable. One-dimensional attacks, limited angles, and no counter strategy. Gallagher didn't mock, he analyzed, and his conclusion was brutal. This wasn't just about heart, it was about ring IQ. Dubois wasn't outclassed, he was outthought, and that's dangerous. At 27, he should be sharpening his craft, not falling for textbook shots. Stepping away doesn't erase the tape, and unless he returns with more than raw power, no one's going to buy into the comeback story.
And I think Daniel forced him into the ropes and it just walked onto a check hook high up on the head, and then obviously in the two phases of attack, Usyk did in them with the left hook around the side of the right hand.
Carl Froch didn't mince words, and he didn't need to. Days out from the most pivotal fight of his career, Daniel Dubois was reportedly entertaining guests, not sharpening tools, not zoning in, hosting. Froch, known for his no-nonsense approach to preparation, highlighted exactly what was wrong: distraction. This wasn't just a tune-up fight. This was Oleksandr Usyk, a pound-for-pound technician who demands absolute focus, mentally and physically. And yet, Dubois seemed more caught up in atmosphere than urgency. That's not warrior mindset. That's misplaced priorities. Froch didn't yell or rant. He simply laid out the truth. If you dilute your focus during camp, don't expect sympathy when things unravel. At 27, Dubois should be narrowing his circle, not expanding it. Partying before battle rarely ends well, and when it's self-inflicted, the fallout's deserved. Fans noticed, and Froch just confirmed what they feared. Dubois wasn't fully locked in, and the result showed.
Don Charles, his trainer, said it was a gathering, and he's done it before. He's had these gatherings before big fights. He did it before AJ, and he got the job done against AJ. But I can't think of anything worse as a fighter, having people around the house that you don't know. And
Daniel Dubois' retirement has sent shockwaves across boxing, but not in the way he likely intended. At just 27, with a resume marked more by doubts than defining wins, this feels less like the end of a journey and more like stepping away under pressure. After dodging the Parker fight, folding against Usyk, and now walking away, fans aren't convinced. They've seen this pattern before. Veterans like Carl Froch, Derek Chisora, and Johnny Nelson didn't sugarcoat their reactions. And why should they? From the outside, it looks like a young fighter with raw talent but lacking the fire, discipline, and grit that makes champions. Let's not forget, days before facing one of the most technically gifted fighters in the world, Dubois were hosting social events, not sharpening tools. That's not championship mindset. That's distraction. So, is this really a retirement? Or is it a calculated pause to cool off criticism, rebrand, and return with a new excuse and a bigger payday? One thing's clear. If Dubois wants respect, he has to earn it through accountability and evolution, not escape. Because right now, he's not exiting a champion. He's walking away with unfinished business and a fan base that's losing faith. But what do you think? Is Dubois done for good? Or is this all part of a comeback plan? Let us know in the comments.